Here's a helpful video when simplifying exponents and you're multiplying two quantities together. This might be in two different ways. One where they have a times sign in the middle, just like these ones. We're also going to show you how it is if there's parentheses and there's an exponent on the outside of the parentheses. So what we're going to do is, since it's multiplying, I'm going to multiply the big numbers, the coefficients in front, together. So this 2 times 2 is going to get me a 4. So that's how I'm doing this. 2 times 2 gave me the 4. Now for the exponents, or the variables, I have m squared, which really means m times m, and then I have 3 more of those from the other one. So how many m's are there all together? This together here as m to the 5th power. Okay? This becomes m to the 5th. When I'm multiplying together, that's why I have an exponent. So I'm going to count up how many m's or how many variables I have, and I'm going to write that next to this number, m to the 5th. So this answer for this first problem is 4m to the 5th. So I multiplied the big numbers, the coefficients, and I ended up adding the variables, but I want to count out how many there are. So at the next example, I'm going to multiply the big numbers. So 2 times 4 gives me 8. And let's look at the variables. I have k to the 4th, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have, from this part, I have 1 more. So that really equals k to the 5th power. There happens to be 5 of them again. So I'm just going to write these next to each other. So I have 8k to the 5th. That's the answer for that. We're going to do one more where it's just multiplying together. Now this time I have 2 different variables, 2 different letters. I'm still going to do the same thing. So I'm going to write a 1 in front of here if there's never a number in front. So I'm going to do my numbers first. 4 times 1 is 4. Now let's look at the letters. V to the 3rd means I have 3 of them. And then over here, from right here, I have 1 more. So that's a total of v to the 4th power. Now what about the u's? I only have u squared, which is u times u. I don't have any over here, so I'm just not going to write any next to it. Okay? So this becomes u squared. So now I have 3 parts to my answer. I'm just going to write them all next to each other. 4 v to the 4th, u to the 2nd. Okay? So breaking them apart, and actually multiply the big numbers, the coefficients, and then kind of count up how many variables of each kind you have. You can only combine v's with v's. Okay? You can't combine v and u together. They don't add up, they're not like terms. So that's when there's a multiplication sign in between. Let's look at when there's a parenthesis and exponents on the outside. So with this outside number is you're going to write the stuff in the parentheses that number of times. So I'm going to write this stuff 4 times, the stuff that's inside here. 4r0 times 4r to the 0 times 4r to the 0 times 4r to the 0. So now it looks exactly like the problems we did before, except there's a lot more going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my big numbers together. So I have 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. So that's going to be 4 times 4 is going to be 16. And then I have another 16 there. So we have 16 times 16 will end up giving me 256. So that's for the number part. Now look at our variables. They have an exponent of 0. This is very important. Anything to the 0 power will equal 1 all the time. So all these things right here are really a 1. And 4 times 1 doesn't change anything. It still does 4 times all those things, right? So my answer, r to the 0 times r to the 0, all of those are just a 1. So all those 1's times each other is a 1, so it really doesn't even matter. So my final answer for this problem is just the number 256. Okay? So the number outside of the parentheses, you're going to write the inside parentheses stuff that many times. Let's look at another example. So I have another 4 out here. I'm going to write the inside stuff 4 times. 3k to the 4th times 3k to the 4th, 3k to the 4th times 3k to the 4th. So we're going to look at our big numbers. 3 times 3 is a 9. 3 times 3 is another 9, so really I have 9 times 9, which gives me 81 for my number stuff. Now let's look at the variables. I'm just going to write them together. K to the 4 times k to the 4th times k to the 4th times k to the 4th. Now you could write all of these k to the 4th out as 4 individual k letters, but you should probably just be able to count. Now I have 4, I have 8, I have 12, I have 16, so this is really k to the 16th. So I'm just going to combine those things next to each other, write them next to each other. 81 k to the 16th. Right? We're going to look at one more with these parentheses. I have 4a to the 3rd, and that quantity is squared, which means there's 2. I'm only going to write this thing twice. So I have 4a to the 3rd times 4a to the 3rd. So still same thing. I'm going to multiply the large numbers. 4 times 4, 16. And I'm going to write out a to the 3rd times a to the 3rd. I'm really counting how many there are. If I wrote a to the 3rd out, 3. How many do I have? I really have a to the 6th. I'm counting how many there are. So I combine both parts of my answer together to say 16a to the 6th. So this is my simplified answer of this problem, of this original problem actually. 16a to the 6th. Write it a little bit better. Alright, so I'm going to multiply the large numbers and kind of combine my terms together with the variables, and the number in front of the parenthesis, or on the outside of the parenthesis, I'm sorry, is how many times you rewrite the stuff. So ask your teacher if you're still having questions with these exponents. They're very important to understand.